When we think of surfboards, we usually picture brightly colored lengths of foam and fiberglass composite. So it comes as a surprise to see a wooden surfboard. But why? After all, every kind of waterborne vessel was once made from trees. That's because no matter what, wood floats. 2 planks of poplar are glued on either side of a strip of oak. Using a template, a craftsman draws the shape he wants for the surfboard. With a Japanese pole saw, he cuts the shape out by hand, establishing the basic form of the surfboard. A CNC router quickly and accurately cuts the inner support framework for the board from poplar plywood. The builder sources wood from suppliers who use sustainable forestry practices. Using his pole saw, the craftsman carefully frees the pieces of the support framework and removes them before smoothing the edges with a block sander. He then begins fitting the pieces together to form the framework. For the spine, the builder uses fast-drying superglue, which bonds powerfully and quickly, allowing him to work fast. With the spine complete, he can start gluing and inserting the ribs. The finished frame resembles the skeleton of a large fish. Once the support structure has cured, the craftsman places it on the bottom skin of the surfboard. He positions it carefully and clamps it securely in place on a purpose-built jig. He then traces the lines of the frame onto the skin while measuring and marking a set distance from the end of each rib. He squeezes a bead of an epoxy-based glue over the network of lines before lifting the frame into position on the skin. He clamps everything down and leaves it to cure overnight. The sides of the surfboard, which are called the rails, consist of 12 strips of wood glued and clamped together layer by layer. This process takes several days. When all of the glue is fully cured, the builder lays a bead of polyurethane glue on the frame and rails. He then lowers the surfboard's top skin into position and secures it with dozens of clamps. He will let the fully assembled board cure overnight. Once it is cured, the board is ready for the final phase of production. The craftsman must shape and smooth the wood to give the object its final shape. The rails act as cutting guides as he uses a pole saw to trim off the skin where it overlaps them. With a small Japanese-made wood plane, he begins to round the top edges of the board. Clients with a DIY philosophy can sign up for workshops at this facility, in which they learn to make their own surfboard. The builder also uses a special tool called a saw rasp. A square ensures he starts from the same point on the bottom and top when shaping the nose and tail. The saw rasp shapes the wood quickly and efficiently. Now that the surfboard has its final shape, the craftsman uses a sanding block with increasingly finer grits of sandpaper to create a smooth surface. He signs the bottom of the board with a pencil before burning it into the wood with a tool called a pyrography pen. A layer of fiberglass and epoxy gives the wood a tough outer shell. Customers can choose to have a fin box with a removable fin, or they can opt for a permanent wooden fin. Traditional material plus an innovative design results in wooden surfboards that are built to last.